We are now well into 2026, and we still have had radio silence from Bungie on anything to do with Destiny 2's future content or anything along those lines. And of course, that naturally just brews speculation within the community, and you end up with rumours popping up, whether they're fake or real, who actually knows. But there's been things like Destiny 3 is actually being developed internally at Bungie. There's the Eververse calendar now being extended by almost 2 months, delaying the next content drop, which is kind of wild. There's the fact that we don't have a roadmap yet for the content going forward, and all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to get my thoughts on it because there's been quite a few things, and it's just been stacking up whilst Bungie's not really said a word. So the first thing is that I stumbled upon a video by Gaming Animal, who goes through like the Eververse calendar, it seems, each season, because Bungie tend to update the game with the Eververse calendar for that entire season. Then the next season releases, and then they have the next calendar available if you look at the API, I think it is, for Destiny. So they seem to have updated or extended the calendar to go from the week of the 3rd of March, where it had been ending prior to this update, and it now goes all the way to the week of the 28th of April, or it ends that week, should I say, which is a bit strange because it also means that it's quite likely that Shadow and Order, which is meant to be the next content drop for Destiny, will now release on the 28th of April instead of the 3rd of March, which is almost a delay of 2 months, which is kind of wild, especially since this is like Shadow and Order is meant to release in a month's time from like today, essentially, and Bungie has not said a word. I mean, we all know why this is happening. Marathon releases on the 5th of March, and that is likely why they would be delaying Shadow and Order. Why they wouldn't have had the foresight to do this ages ago, I don't know, because it's not unheard of to have an extremely long season. They've done that, I think, twice in the past, where they've had to delay a Destiny expansion just to polish it a bit more, and that's been okay. Like, it's been actually accepted by the community. Sometimes they have a few more events thrown in, and I wouldn't really expect them to not do that this time. I would expect them to have the likes of like Arms Week thrown in and that sort of thing anyway, which they've sort of been doing to fill the void. But they've not said anything at all, which is very strange. Now, interestingly, in this guy's video, it also seems that Guardian Games is starting on the 3rd of March and it's going for 3 weeks. And that raises concerns for me, because if they're delaying the next content drop in order to have all hands on deck for Marathon's launch and sort of like hypercare for Marathon, there's no way they're going to divert resources to fixing Guardian Games when inevitably it happens, something breaks with Guardian Games, like has been happening with basically every other event they've had recently. If there's a game-breaking bug with Guardian Games, they probably will fix it, but it probably won't be very quick. And if there's minor things which go wrong where they usually would fix it, I could see them just ignore it this time round, which might be in our benefit, it might not, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, if they're delaying a content drop for the launch of a new game to divert all resources to that game, I highly doubt they're going to really pay Guardian Games much attention. Assuming that this actually does mean Shadow and Order is delayed, which I think is highly likely if this guy's Eververse calendar is to be trusted, which I don't see why it wouldn't be. I don't know what that says for the next expansions being released. Does that mean they're also going to be delayed by a month or two, which maybe they need to be extra polished? Maybe instead of being just told by Bungie that Shadow and Order is being delayed, maybe the other 2 expansions for this year will be delayed as well, and that's why they haven't said anything, because they want to tell us at the same time, and that's a bit more of a hefty announcement. So I don't know what bearing this will have on the rest of the year, but that does sort of bring us on to our next topic, which is Destiny 3. Now, there's been rumours that Destiny 3 is now being developed internally at Bungie, and that it's in the very, very early stages. I don't know if somebody made this up or if it's actually trustworthy, but hypothetically, if that actually was the case, I would believe it. In previous years, I wouldn't have believed it, because Destiny has always had content planned for like years in advance. If they wanted to do a Destiny 3, the perfect time in theory would have been right after the final shape released, sort of have Destiny 3 development going on in the background, or start the development from that point, and then use that year of the episodes immediately after as a way to wind down Destiny 2, close off some threads that Destiny 2 has, and then divert the development to Destiny 3. That's how they probably should have done it, but I think they probably wanted to try to just get Destiny 2 to be revived and see how long they can ride it out, and Destiny 2 is their main money-making thing. I actually think the success of Marathon heavily influences what will happen with Destiny. If Marathon is very successful, I could see them wind down Destiny 2 after they have delivered upon the content they've told us already, which only goes to the end of this year, I believe. I could see them wind down Destiny 2, focus on Marathon and Destiny 3. And if Marathon flops, I could see them focus on Destiny 2 and just try to beat that dead horse for as long as they possibly can, and buy them enough time for Destiny 3 to get released. Also, realistically, if Marathon flops, PlayStation's gonna just say to Bungie, make Destiny 3. And I don't think they're gonna have much choice in the matter, to be completely honest. This brings us nicely onto the last topic, which is the roadmap. We were promised a roadmap months ago. I think it was even during a VIDOC for Renegades perhaps, and we've had nothing. There's honestly been no mention of it. I think DMG had mentioned that the team's jamming on it, and they're trying to make the roadmap, but it takes time. I've seen some interesting speculation on this, such as there won't be a roadmap until at earliest the start of the new financial year, because PlayStation wants to assess what to do with Bungie and Destiny as a franchise, and therefore they don't want to give us a roadmap which says they're going to do things and then they won't actually. But I also think that they're not giving it to us yet, because whatever they deliver content-wise for Destiny heavily depends upon Marathon's performance. And it's, as I said earlier in the video, if Marathon does extremely well, then they can probably just wind down Destiny 2 at the end of the year, and that would be our roadmap. We have 2 expansions this year and that's it. But if Marathon flops, then they're probably going to have to maintain both games at the same time, or completely drop Marathon and we'll have Destiny 2 just continue on into the future until the Destiny 3 releases. And I think, like it or not, that's probably why they haven't given us the roadmap yet. I could be completely wrong, but that's sort of my feeling. I get a very strong feeling that the future of Destiny as a, well, not even Destiny as a franchise, just the future of Destiny 2 as a game is heavily dependent on how Marathon does. I also can't quite believe I'm saying this, but I do think that perhaps the best thing is for Marathon to do rather well. They wind down Destiny 2 at the end of the year. It still stays online, but it just doesn't get updated. And then Destiny 3 releases in a few years' time. Because it's almost like seeing a pet in pain near the end of its life. Yeah, you love the thing, you want it to still be around, you'll miss it when it's gone, but sometimes you just have to let them go. And I feel like that's what's happening with Destiny 2, because almost everything that gets added to the game is broken. Events just don't work. The fixes they're putting in are kind of just half-assed, or when you look at the fix, it's like, whoa, what? Like with the Arms Week that got released, the currency is different every time Arms Week releases. It's the same currency, but it's got a different code. And this version of Arms Week was giving the old currency, but Ada 1 was only accepting the new version. And their fix was to add a currency exchange at Ada. And I'm just like, that's the most cobbled together fix I think I've seen. And I feel like it's only going to get worse from here. So I love Destiny 2. I've devoted years of my gaming time to this game. I love it. But I also know that I would love a Destiny 3. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on anything I've discussed here in the comments below. Maybe you agree with my sentiment around Destiny 2 and maybe it's best for it to get wound down, or maybe you'd rather it gets support for the next few years until Destiny 3 releases, or maybe you don't even think Destiny 3 is gonna release. But let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe even subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.